During that 10-year relationship, I mean, where were you at mentally, and like, how did that affect all other relationships in your life?
The confidence, it was, not thinking, I wasn't worthy anymore. I'm ugly because I was told I was ugly, that, I wouldn't amount to anything. Just like really, negative, things that he would throw at me, and not just, verbally, it was also physically. So, I just, decided just to make the change. I had to make the change. I knew what kind of person I am. I've always been a very positive, very outgoing person, and I was at my lowest. So that's why I made the change, because it was like my kids are watching this, and I have to set an example.
Right.
So that's why I did it.
Welcome to Beyond the Scale, the show where everyday heroes share their stories on how they turn their lives around for the healthier. I'm Coach Brittany, and today's guest is Coach Lee. She explains why it's okay to be selfish when it comes to your health. Hope you enjoy. Welcome, Coach Lee.
Hi.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Great.
Did you get your workout in this morning?
I did. At 9 o'clock, I did.
Awesome. So how long have you been working out?
So I'm going about 4 years in September.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
That's some commitment there.
Yes, major commitment.
Right? And now, how often do you work out?
At least 6 days a week.
Okay.
Yes.
And do you find that you can fit it into your schedule pretty easily?
Yeah, especially when I'm a coach there.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a must.
Yeah, the clients love that I join in the workouts, and they like to be challenged, so they want to be like sometimes in the group that I'm in, so that I can challenge them. They say I'm an inspiration, so it's
like
nice
that.
to see that, and that I can change lives that way, in whatever way I can.
Yeah. I'm just curious, what is your favorite exercise?
Burpee.
Oh, you don't hear that often.
It's a full body workout,
right?
And it's not the half burpee type thing. It's the one with the push-up.
Okay, the full-fledged one. Okay, now do you feel fulfilled with what you currently do?
I do. Especially when I have clients that come up to me and tell me it's because of you. I'm off my, meds. I've lost this many pounds. I can pick up, things that I've never used to be able to pick up, like with strength-wise, just to hear that makes a huge difference for me. It kind of, cheers me up, because it's like I'm making a difference in this way, and actually in a way where it's a healthy and a fit way.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's in a good way.
And now, how does that play into the rest of your life outside of coaching and working out?
So when I vacation, I want to work out. So I've always implemented it in there, whether I find other boot camps or, Fit Bodies, or find just any other boot camps out there. I've fit it in my life because I've made it into my lifestyle. And if I don't, I feel sluggish. And I don't feel complete, kind of thing. It completes me.
Yeah.
After the workout, before I'm like, oh my God, I'm dreading this. But after, I feel freaking amazing,
Yeah. And
just
now,
amazing.
Now, when you're feeling that before you work out, like, oh, do I have to do this, whatever, what motivates you to actually get in the gym and actually do your workout?
It's the aftermath of it, like the feeling that I get of the adrenaline rush.
So knowing what it's going to create
Exactly,
afterwards.
and what I'm burning. So, and then I watched everybody else do it. I was like, yep, I did that too. I look like that too.
And now, I mean, you seem like a very happy person. Your clients think you're super inspiring. So has you always been like this, or what is?
Yes. Majority of my life, yes. I've had my struggles in, as a small child, and as an adulthood, and also becoming a young mom at the same time. So I've had my struggles, but I have conquered each struggle. I've triumphed, and it's just made me that much of a stronger person, a positive person. So, getting into this field and making a positive impact and a great impact to others, is a huge reward for me.
Got it. Now, speaking of struggles, what's one of the biggest struggles you've faced in life?
Domestic violence.
Oh, that's a
Yes.
big one.
Yeah. My first marriage, that I had 2 children with, my first husband. It was abusive, and it lasted for about almost 10 years.
Wow.
And finally, it just got to the point where I was starting to become a little suicidal, and but I knew that if I were to leave this world, my kids would probably not be in good hands.
Mm-hmm.
So I made the choice to, really find help out there. And there is help out there. A lot of women are stuck in domestic violence and don't think they have a way of outlet.
Yeah.
But there is an outlet. You just got to be strong and got to be wanting to get this help. I was scared for my own life as well, because I was threatened. But I was taking that chance. So I decided to get help. I saw all the signs of manipulation, which I was completely manipulated.
Mm-hmm.
I became a mom at 17 years old, so I was very dependent on the husband that I had.
Yeah.
And I even had a second child with him, and also lost a child, stillborn, also with him. So I had 3 kids with him,
Yeah.
2 live, and now they're 15 and 20.
Okay.
So,
You do
but
not
yeah.
look like you could have a 20-year-old.
Thank
Just
you.
saying.
Thank you. I'm aging very slow. It's fit body. So I ended up, just getting the cojones and decided to leave.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you were able to come to that decision.
Yeah.
So during that 10-year relationship, I mean, where were you at mentally, and like, how did that affect all other relationships in your life?
The confidence. It was, not thinking, I wasn't worthy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ugly because I was told I was ugly. That I wouldn't amount to anything. Just like really, negative, things that he would throw at me,
Mm-hmm.
and not just. Verbally, it was also physically.
Mm.
So, I just, decided just to make the change. I had to make the change. I knew what kind of person I am. I've always been a very positive, very outgoing person, and I was at my lowest. So that's why I made the change, because it was like my kids are watching this, and I have to set an example.
Right.
So that's why I did it.
Okay. So you would say your lowest point was the suicidal thoughts and realizing that your
Right.
kids would not be in good hands.
Exactly.
Okay. So once you decided to make that change, what was the first thing you did?
I told them I can't do this anymore, that I wasn't happy anymore, and that I wanted to leave. So I knew the consequences was possibly losing our place,
Mm-hmm.
and then being homeless. And, though I wasn't homeless without shelter, I didn't go into a shelter, place. I ended up staying with my sister.
Okay.
And I got back on my feet, saved the money and everything, and were able to start a new life with my kids.
So that's great. You said that you had your sister there for support,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
awesome. Did you
family.
have any other family that was there?
My
to support
mom
you?
as well. So I had, my family as support.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that you had that support and you were able to
Thank
get out of
you.
that. So you gaining the confidence from making that decision, I'm sure that catapulted so many other changes in your life.
Yeah.
How does that play a role in fitness now?
You can conquer anything if you really put your mind to it, and you really, you kind of have to be a little bit selfish. You got to think about yourself, and what is it that you need to conquer these, obstacles in life.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get all these obstacles in life, and it's how you deal with it and how you, surpass those. And so that's what it's played for me. With the fitness, I put my mind to it.
Mm-hmm.
I set my, a little selfish. My kids are a little older now, so I got a little selfish and worked on myself.
You deserve it,
yeah,
though.
and then I feel more confident about myself. My weight fluctuates. I'm only human. I like food.
Yeah, you got to have that balance,
yeah, right.
though, right?
I do challenges all the time, but I love, being positive, making an impact, and not just for myself, but for others.
Mm-hmm.
So Yeah, you can do anything if you really put your mind to it, and it's how bad you want it.
Exactly. So what advice would you give to maybe someone listening at home that is struggling? Maybe they just feel like they're lazy. They just, they're finding it hard to actually make it into the gym for the first time.
Well, stop thinking negative. That would be the first. To think positive. All right, let's do this. Put your mind, set your mind. Look at, pictures of how you used to look like, how when you were happy, and print those out, put them on your mirror. I done that, and this is what I want to look like, and this is what I'm gonna be like. And so you just got to set your mind.
So you're a coach now, but you
Yes.
weren't always a coach.
No.
So tell me about that transition. How did that happen?
Okay, so I was a preschool teacher for 17 years, a little over 17 years, and worked with young children. And I saw that I had a lot of patience, and I loved it. But being so dedicated to fitness and making so many friends, and now they're family, I started bringing some clientele, and they saw the changes in my life. Yeah. And so with that being said, Bryce Henson, hit me up, and so did Tatiana, and said, you would be great for this. And well, I was also, when the challenges would come up, they would make me like a captain, because I was very social and making friends and everything, and always, trying to get people to challenge them, while I was working out with them. Come on, you can do it faster. Come on, come on, come on. Drew knows. So I've challenged Drew.
Okay.
He has hops, that's for sure. He can jump.
He can jump high. Okay, and now challenges. So
so I joined these challenges, right? And then I think from making so many friends and everything, and being so dedicated to fitness and making fitness part of my life, that Bryce hit me up, and Tatiana, and they hit me up with this opportunity to be a coach. And I don't mind a change. I always feel like if there's something that's presented in your life and it's being put in your life, take that chance. Take chances. So I did. I took the chance. I left the field of 17 years, and I decided to become a full-time coach.
And if you could go back in time, would you change any of that?
No. I love it. I love it. I love being able, it's a new change. Definitely, the people, you get told you're number one with their nice little finger, but it's not even in a bad way, and it's like, yes, you're doing your job, because they're giving you the look and they're giving you that finger, and I love it. It's like, it's tough. You're pushing yourself. I'm going to challenge you, and and that's what makes it so much better. I mean, the little kids, they just tantrum. You don't really get that with adults. You actually get the eyes. The looks.
Eye rolls, the looks.
Yes. It's a different type of satisfaction.
Okay. So, you said that you love change, but, being a school teacher for 17 years and, taking this big change into fitness, did you have any fears or concerns or anything at that point of making that big change, or you were just all gung-ho about it?
I was pretty much gung-ho.
Okay.
I try to leave the negative part and try to not think so negative, just go into it like positively.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, so how does your past pain help you relate to your clients now?
When they cry and they said that they never thought that they would be able to amount to what they can do now with their endurance and their strength, and how they really need this and they want to make this change. I've seen that, like for instance, for me, I would cry and I was like, I want this confidence back. I don't feel great about myself, and I need to make this change. So I see that with my clients now, and it's like, I can give them a little bit of like my history, not go into full detail, but I can give them my history of like, what, these struggles are normal. It's how you go about it in a positive way. You're making a change now. You made the first step, and you came into boot camp to make the step for yourself, and it's okay to be selfish.
And I think that's super important because like you're a very positive person and people may be like, oh, her life is great. But it's like, no, you've been through so many traumatic things. So sharing that and saying like, look, there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
You don't have to be, what your past is. So
Right.
as a coach, do you think it's important to invest in your clients' lives, past working out?
Past working out, like going to events.
Just like getting into their personal life, just beyond the gym, like knowing.
Oh yeah,
the
I
struggles
try
that
to
they
make
have.
it a point to try to go and sit down with them and talk to them, and ask them, how are you enjoying this, or just try to small talk, I do try to develop a relationship with all my clients, try to at least give them a tap, like you're doing so awesome. I can't believe. I mean, I'm noticing the inches just falling off of you, and it's true, and I'm not, going up to them and BSing, and it's the truth. I've seen the changes in them. Some of them couldn't even do a lunge, even with a weight. Now they can do it with a weight, and they're not wobbly. Like, to see that, it's incredible.
And now, do you see any of your clients, or do you hear from any of your clients how them getting involved in fitness has, bled into the rest of their life?
Yeah, they said they're addicted. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty addicting.
I mean, everyone's got some type of addiction.
Right.
Might as well have a good one.
Right, exactly. And to hear that they love coming and not knowing the exercises or the format, they love it. They love it. Some people are like, oh, it's leg day, it's Tuesday. But, we were asked if we liked it surprising, well, when I was a client, one of the surveys had asked if we like knowing what days are leg days in, upper body or full body. And I think the majority voted, we like it to be surprised. We don't want to know.
I think I would do the same thing just because I'm like, I don't know what I'm getting into. I don't want to make excuses for myself.
Exactly.
I'm just going and doing it.
Yeah.
So speaking of always switching up the formats, why is it important to change the formats and change the workouts that you do on a day-to-day basis?
I believe it's important because people get excited. Oh, okay, what is it today? Oh, it's EMOM. Oh, no. But then when they're done, to see their faces like, yes, I killed it, They like our format. So when we have EMOM, we have Tabata, we have, where we do like 4 rounds of 3 different stations and it's strength training, they like that too. So we try to implement some strength training in there, not just for us women, because it's majority women, but for the men, but a lot of our clientele wants to go heavy on weights. And, I've been asked with some of the clientele, hey, I'm not getting sore anymore. What's going on? I said, well, you got to go heavier. It's going to slow you down, but you got to go a little heavier,
Challenge yourself.
Yeah, challenge yourself. I said there's going to come a moment where it's going to not really, you're like, okay, I'm seeing the same thing. Like, I'm not seeing more of, I want more tone. Okay, well, let's go up on weight. They're like, well, can you challenge me? Yes, you gave me permission.
Now I'm going ham on you.
Exactly.
And now, so you have 2 kids that you mentioned.
Yes.
Are they also living healthy lifestyles into fitness?
Not so much. Not so much. They're very independent kids that like to go, and they're just very independent, My youngest does like my food.
Okay.
Yeah. It used to taste like cardboard.
Is this when you first started switching to healthier food?
Yes, exactly. When I started doing like my meals and prepping and stuff, I prep my own meals.
Okay.
So, because it's my kitchen, and I know my kitchen's clean, I like doing my own meals, and I dedicate myself for that on Sundays.
Okay.
And with my youngest, he actually asks me, Mom, can you cook some healthy food today? Oh, okay.
There you
got this. They like my kale chips. They like my spaghetti squash. I make that. I make tacos, but without the tortillas, so it's in like lettuce.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they especially the youngest loves it. The oldest is like, really, Mom? It's like, you know what? Go get your food, okay? You're older now. You can do.
You're an adult.
Exactly.
So talking about meal prepping, you said that you prep all your meals on Sundays. How long does it typically take you?
A good 2 hours.
Okay.
So I first cook the protein, marinate it, do all that. I got fish in one oven. I got, grilling, some steak or some chicken. So I try to implement chicken steak and fish. Then I do that. Then I obviously wash it all up, and then I start throwing in all the vegetables and stuff like that. And that's how I put my meals together.
Okay.
So not all the meals are always the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I always change it up. Some meals have some brown rice in it. Some meals have, asparagus, or, I just try to change it up because, it gets boring chicken all week.
Right.
And I remember doing that in the beginning when I started boot camp. But then as you, really dedicate yourself in it and you start learning how to cook, especially the healthy way, and getting tips. One of my huge, a huge tip was Flavor God.
Oh, I've heard so much about that. So
I started with Flavor God, and after using Flavor God for like almost 2 years, I started learning how to just kind of do my own own spices. Exactly. And it's just even better.
Nice.
Yeah.
Got to make your own brand on that.
Exactly, right? It's mine.
Well, I'm glad that you shared that because I think a lot of people have a misconception that meal prepping takes a long time and they're like, oh, exactly like you said, I don't want to eat the same thing every day. But you said you spend 2 hours on a Sunday. And then how much time does that save you from cooking over the week? A
long time because I got breakfast I do in the mornings. That is just a no-brainer. I just boil eggs, or I have a banana, and that's what I eat in the mornings. Or I'll make like a white, egg white omelet, or with some spinach in there and a little bit of like Parmesan, and just sprinkle some, pepper, just a tad bit of Himalayan salt. And so I just, I change it up all the time. So yeah, I've learned to make my meals more tasteful and less boring and tasteless. Okay. And now how do you help your clients change their diets around eating? Okay, sorry. I was mixing two questions together there. Okay. And now how do you help your clients eat healthier? I kind of tell them what I do. Okay. So like lead by example. Right. Exactly. I lead by example. And if they want to, pictures and stuff like that, I have that and I just send it to them. This is what I do, and so we also have on our site, on our VIP site, where we have meals that they can go through as well and do it that way. Some people are like, well, I don't have the time. We have meal prep services that we also use. So I've tried one, which was the Cali Fit meals. Okay. That was really good. They had over 100 meals every day. I never had the same thing, and they were good and everything. But it's just not the same as what you would cook in your kitchen, Yeah. And so though I would recommend them because they're really, they taste good. Just finances sometimes just get in the way. So true. Yeah. So it's just economically, like making your own meals is a lot cheaper. Okay. Yeah. And now speaking of leading by example, what does that really mean to you? It's huge for me because my mom led by example of being a strong single mom of 3. So she led an example of being strong, and that even if you don't have a man in your life, you can still raise 3 children on your own. And so seeing my mom struggle that way and with 3 of us, made me a stronger person. So I want to show that to others, that even coming from, the background that I came from as a child, not having a, full-time father there, it doesn't matter. Like, you are your own person. You make those decisions. You're an adult. So it's the way how you want to live your life. And, if you want to live it the positive way or the negative way. And I choose to live it the positive way. So, and that's, that's why I live by example. My mom was an example. And that's what I want to do for others, is lead by example. I've been through the domestic violence and, look where I'm at now. I didn't let that bring me down. Exactly. I have a 20-year-old and a 15-year-old, and I'm still here. Taking care of yourself, looking great, inspiring others. Exactly. That's awesome. That's so powerful. Thank you for sharing all of that. Of course. Thank you. So what does living beyond the scale mean to you? Living beyond the scale, don't look at the scale. Just be positive. You don't need a scale to dictate your life. Because honestly, the scale can disappoint some people or make some people happy. But seeing beyond the scale, I feel like you don't need to have a scale to tell you to be a positive and, you know, to make the changes. And you got to want what you want, you know. Blah, blah, blah. That was my turn. Okay, say it again.
Yeah, I'll ask you again. What does living beyond the scale mean to you?
That you don't need a scale to dictate your life. You gotta want to make the change in your life, and a scale is just gonna drag you down. You know, if you know, live a positive life, a healthy lifestyle, and I think that that's beyond the scale is how you choose to live your life, and in a good way, you know, positive way.
I love that. How you choose to live your life.
Exactly.
It's all up to you. You don't have to be defined by your past or anything.
No, nothing.
So whatever you choose from today and every other day.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Do you have any last parting words for our listeners that you'd like to end with?
I would say, you know, don't let anything ever bring you down. And to try to be more of a positive person. If you feel down in any way, don't let it bring you down. Be positive and make the changes in your life that you need to make the changes so you can feel confident and love yourself. And there's nothing wrong with being selfish.
Thank you so much for sharing that. You are such a happy, inspirational person. I love that, even though everything that you've been through. So if there's anyone out there that's ready to blah, 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 we're going to start that over because should I just start from just going in there? Okay. Yeah. If you guys want to get started with Fit Body Bootcamp, make sure you check out fitbodybootcamp.com to find a location near you and claim your 3 free workouts. Until next time. Did you know that you could have done a full workout in the amount of time it took you to listen to this podcast? Go to fitbodybootcamp.com to claim your 3 free sessions now. And remember to join me next Tuesday so you can see who our special guest is. Until then, remember to live a fit body, fit mind forever.